and welcome to Deep Dive with DevBrew Networks. My name is Mike Coker. I'm your host. And today I have my good friend, Edgar Lombera.
Thanks, Mike.
How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Another good point. We talk about EVPN, we talk about collapsed core, these are all hinting at something, right? They're like the top of the iceberg. Underneath the water surface is a whole bunch of things that have evolved to enable this. And this is kind of the propeller head, in me, like appreciating what's happening underneath. Important things have changed, in the way data centers are built, why they built. They might seem, not that big of a deal, but they kind of build up to enable all this great stuff to happen, from just, essentially simply a leaf and spine architecture, right? That's always been there, top of rack switches, connecting to central switches, et cetera, but a slight twist on it. Now they're not switches, they're all routers, right? And once you do that, now things start to change. You can choose different protocols. You can do other things that start to add resiliency or different characteristics in the way things scale, separating the scalability of path diversity from the scalability of bandwidth, let you use more of your network without certain things kind of sitting around doing nothing. Redundancy is just the first step, but how redundant parts of your network really start to matter. Why? Because it comes back to your investment up front and how much value you can pull out of it at the end, right? All of that comes down to say, choosing the technology partner, who's providing those little boxes on the screen, on the drawing, right? Which box do you choose? All of that, those become pretty, critical choices down at the bottom, right? At the beginning, right? That open up the doors for you to consume these things, to put them to work for you. That's an important thing. Which switches are you using? The ports that are there, the features and the software that's running on them, and then you start tying that together with the management platforms. That's the big picture. That's the big picture.
You touched on the underlay overlay. So explain that to somebody that doesn't really understand the EVPN-VXLAN. There's this underlay overlay thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So fundamentally, it's the idea of virtualization, right? Just we talked about servers and virtual machines versus bare metal machines, et cetera. Same idea of virtualization. You might be very aware of legacy technology VLANs, right? Virtual LANs, right? Well, underlay overlay is basically kind of like that next level conversation where it's not even just VLANs, right? You're basically have like broad networking at its fundamental layer. That's the underlay. That you keep that very simple, very straightforward, easy to troubleshoot, easy to deploy, and then you build a mechanism. This is the overlay to move the data around there. And by building purposefully that separation, it opens the door to more flexibility, gives you higher levels of resiliency, things that you can now build an overlay structure that is better suited or optimized for the applications that you're running. Is it an AI workload? Is it a certain type of web application? Is it some sort of a storage application? Now you've built a general purpose underlay that can now create optimized and purpose-built overlays as necessary, depending on what your business is doing.